Hey guys, welcome back to some more AFK Arena. Today we're over on the YouTube account. We are setting up the teams for the fire version of the Treasure Scramble, guys. Now I'm going to go through a couple different formations. Most of these are not super friendly, free to play. And the reason behind that is because when it comes to PvP, guys, PvP is a very kind of a fickle monster. Free to play, it's very hard to know exactly what heroes you're working with, who you have in formation. So I'm going to go through again the key formation, and then I'm going to show you kind of some of the substitutes in here. So the first formation is running with some of our dimensional heroes. Albedo you should absolutely have with Brutus. Very strong combination. This also runs Solus, and it runs Yennefer, which we know is very strong in PvP. Merlin is in the last slot, guys. Now again, looking at a couple guides, if you do not have Yennefer, if you do not have her built, you can actually swap out for Joan of Arc would work in here. Ezio would work in here. A couple different variations would work depending on the heroes that you have. If you do not have Yennefer, same with Merlin. You want to look for a hero that is kind of similar within that support role, the mitigation. So when you look at a Star for mitigation, when you look at Merlin for mitigation, even looking at heroes like Astrilda that play a buffing factor in this formation. Now looking at the pet, this is going to run the Owl. Now this, according to, again, our Chinese guides, this is the best in slot to start with. It does run double dimensional heroes in, or excuse me, double heroes in here. I'm going to go in here and I'm going to put, I'm thinking Brutus. That way we can get some shields, but I do like Solus' attack rating. You know what? I'm going to go that route. Double awakened heroes is what I meant. And then we have the three dimensionals. Then, of course, we know this is going to be kind of a combination because Albedo is going to feed into the buffs, which again, this is a pretty strong formation. Now, looking at the second formation is the awakened version of Belinda. Now, we've seen this, and she is being run with Ulna. Now, this is one that we've seen, again, a couple variations of. If you don't have Belinda, running different heroes in the slot, that essentially Ulna is going to provide the immunity. If you have Ulna in here, running Baden in here works incredibly well. Belinda is ultimately this game mode, the one that you want best in slot. And here we are going to run the Wing Lion within this one. And then looking to add on the rest of the team, we have Halos, which of course, going to provide some shielding, going to provide some instant buffs right there for Belinda. We also do have Palmer in here, which again, a really strong buffing hero. And then we have Aziz for not only the energy regeneration, but also the crowd control and the ult canceling ability. Two very strong teams, guys, right there when it comes to the Treasure Scramble. Again, those are the best in slot teams. Now, if you're running a couple different heroes, again, Ulna is super important in here. Aziz does what he does, but again, if you don't have a hero like Palmer, you can always run a hero like Rowan, will be good within this formation. Even looking at Halos, guys, a lot of players, if you don't have Halos, a hero that is going to provide some buffs in here like Astrilda will help with the damage or the damage mitigation. But what you're looking to do in this formation is essentially getting Belinda to ult. That is really the big one in here. And let's say you don't even have Belinda. A lot of players do run, again, a lot of different heroes within this formation. There are some variations running with like the awakened version of Baden. Even if you ran a hero like Taylene in here, Bathiel, again, for that buffing aspect, it is imperative that you do build out some of these heroes. And that's why I'm not a huge fan of making kind of the PvP guides, because they are very imperative to the heroes that you do have built. But again, when you look at the heroes in their entirety and looking at support heroes, who is going to buff, who is going to give energy, who is going to buff, even looking in here, if you're running Neve with, let's say, Solus in the first formation, Joan is going to buff, Silas is going to buff, who's going to provide the damage mitigation. In here, you know, we have Peanut in here providing a lot of damage mitigation, even some players running Desira in formations. To really build those out, guys, it makes a big difference. Now, those are the two formations we're actually going to carry into the next game mode. So again, I'm going to set these up really quick because I want to make sure these are all set. We only have, I believe it is like 4 more hours, guys, before this is going to be set. Now, this one, we are running the Owl, changing up the formations from before. Now, this is going to run Albedo. We have Brutus in here. We have Solus in here, again, following the same one, Yennefer and Merlin, which again, I have pretty well built out. Second team, we're going to actually change it up in its entirety. And this is a very strong team, guys, because you're running Zolrath in this one. So actually running Zolrath. Again, we're going to have to switch out these formation. Zolrath with Tamaris. Of course, my Tamaris doesn't have the furniture. Makes a big difference, guys, with that 9 of 9 furniture with Tamaris. Running Leica in here, so we are getting a little bit of the haste buff, and I believe this might be my third formation in here. But then it does run Palmer, which again, a little bit of a different formation, running Palmer in here, and the awakened version of Thane. Now, if you don't have Thane, Athelia, good combination for her, switching out a Thane, the awakened version of Thane, and so is Orin. Orin is actually, again, a pretty strong one to buff in there. If you don't have Tamaris, you can run Sonya in here. If you're not running Sonya, you can put Anasa in here. You can put Kanisa and Rook. You can do a couple different heroes within this formation that do work incredibly well. Again, this one, we're going to the Winged Lion. Looking at our third team, this again is going to go back to our old variation. So I'm going to have the Ulna in there. I'm going to have the awakened version of Belinda, and then we're going to have Aziz, because again, they work incredibly well. This, of course, because Palmer's in a different formation, we're running Rowan in this formation, and then Halos, and then we are doing the Lizard. The big thing with the Rock Lizard, guys, is of course he is going to provide some immunity and some shielding depending on where you have him built out. So again, this is going to be the third team for our best in slot, and you'll see kind of going through here that some of the formations do change, and a lot of it is again super dependent on the heroes you have, guys. Even looking at team 2, Zolrath is going to delay the entrance. Leica is going to give the awe ability, which is going to increase haste and energy. Palmer is going to buff up Thane. Tamaris is going to provide some crowd control, which means that the awakened version of Thane in this one can go absolutely crazy. Works the same with Orin, works the same with Athelia. They are going to buff up the team in its entirety. And then looking at this team, I think this is where I got pretty much into the regular formation. So this one, we do have 4 teams. I'm going to do the same with this one, though. This one, we're swapping the Owl in this one. And again, switching up this one a little bit. So we have Aziz. And actually, this one runs Tarnos, which again, I do not have the variation of Tarnos. So I'm just going to put him in here as a placeholder. But this also does run Nevi. So we have Nevi right here, guys. And then it is running Palmer and Solus, the awakened version of Solus in there, and it is running Palmer. Again, you can see where these formations are changing. I'm going to have to go back and change out this copy of Tarnos because there are, again, a couple ones swapping in here. Athelia works in here, swapping out for Tarnos. Athelia can work. A couple other ones. Mortis can work. Even Pharrell can work in here, again, with the crowd control kind of system that works in here. So I can drop Pharrell in here. I can drop Athelia in here, which I think, honestly, I'll probably drop Athelia in this formation. And just because of how I have her built, I could even leave Solus right there. But essentially, this team is going to keep everybody up, which should have no problem keeping everyone up. Again, you have to monitor the teams that you're doing in here. So that is going to be team 1, guys. Team 2, of course, is going to be the build out of the Brutus team. Merlin, and it is going to have Ezio, so we're going to actually drop Merlin in there. It's going to have, Merlin, and it's going to have Yennefer, and then it's going to run Joan. So again, you can see the variation shifting in here. This one is going to run Talus Main as a best in slot within this one. Third team is going to run Zolrath, again running with the Zolrath, but this is going to drop in Vathiel. Again, if you don't have Vathiel, guys, some of the subs for Vathiel include running Estrilda in here, running some of your buffing heroes in here if you do not have Vathiel built out. But then looking, we have Leica and we have Tamaris, so we'll drop both those in. We have Leica and we have Tamaris, and the final one, of course, is Thane. Now the buffs that Vathiel is going to provide is going to go right onto Thane, which again makes for a very strong combination. Thane, you can see still running with Tamaris, makes a very, very strong team. And then it is literally right back to our Ulna team like we've seen before. So Ulna running with Belinda, but this swaps out the combination a little bit different. And it actually runs Rain within here. And then it does run Halos, and this one again running the Rock Lizard to make all 4 teams in there, guys. So that is as far as we can go right now. So I did the first the first 3 teams. I gave you a couple subs in there. Again, if you are a free-to-play player, it is very imperative to really run with the stronger heroes you have. If you're running Damon in here, if you don't have the Awakened heroes, even looking at this formation in its entirety, if you're running Scarlet in here instead of Belinda, could definitely work. If you're running like an Ainz in here, could definitely work. There's a lot of variations when it comes to the heroes within these formations to really make this work within the PvP aspect within the Treasure Scramble. Sorry guys, so I'm gonna let my teams run. I'm gonna let it run a day or two. I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna do team 4, 5, and 6 so we can actually get a little bit further down here. So once these unlock, we'll go ahead and do and run through all 7 teams based on the Fire Treasure Scramble, guys. We have 3 hours and 40 minutes, so that'll do it for today's video. Let me know in the comments what you guys think, and as always, thank you guys for watching.